Hello everyone! Well, I guess no one is listening to us right now, but I wish in the future that there's gonna be some people who would listen to this podcast. This is Nour, and we're gonna have a podcast about the experience of college, and it's called the college experience. What I'm gonna say about the college experience? Well, it is an experience that is not only intellectual but also physical. The moment where your hormones rushing into your brain to give you adrenaline whenever you meet your classmates and do your presentations. For the first time, of course. And it gives you oxytocin when you hang out with lovely colleagues. But it also gives you dopamine when you ace studies and exams.
What?
Okay. Speaking of what, today I'm hosting a dear friend and a classmate from Southampton's University. We're gonna discuss the experience of Southampton. We're gonna also discuss the thesis or the graduation essay that Hanan wrote. Hello, Hanan.
Hello, Nour.
How are you?
Thank you for the lovely presentation. And yes, my name is Hanan and I'm 24 years old.
So Hanan, first of all, what was the major of your study?
The major was called Media, English and Globalization. And it's basically 3 years. 3 years, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like the last term.
Yeah.
The last semester of the program, that's when we do the internship, or we have an opportunity to do an abroad course for the semester.
Good. So let's talk first about the school time. Let's go first. Since we studied so many theories about sociology and so can you tell us about the social life there?
You mean at Sudan?
At Sudan, did you get to know new friends just like me?
Yes. You're one of them. And when we first started, I moved to Stockholm, so everything was fresh and new for me. And my not first target, but of course I had to make friends, and especially in the program, so I feel I'm not alone, or I could when it comes to exams, revise together and all that, getting knowledge from and feeding each other with knowledge, and also at the same time making it fun.
Okay, so you had some good time in the pub, and so the Wednesday.
Of course, when when we do every exam, read an exam, and then we go to the university pub.
Yeah.
And that was fun, a relief. I don't think so we talk about how the exam was, but we more talk about life and shit.
Yes, exactly. Nobody wants to talk about goddamn exams.
No.
Let's jump to something that goes with the exams, actually. If it's the exam is the summary of what you learned from a course, then how would you specify, or talking about quality of the education you received from Southampton?
I mean, some knowledge is still up to this day, from reading the books, or from reading the books to watching a movie or something educational, and then I see a theory or a book that I read, and then I understand what they're talking about in movies, especially sometimes old movies that I've watched, and then I rewatch them again.
Yeah.
And that's when I pick up on such maybe books or theories, or oh, they mean that, or this means that. But at the same time, some knowledge was useless, that I don't think so I'm going to use it, but at the same time, never say never, so you can say it's 50-50.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes, why am I reading or watching such an old movie?
Or reading a book, especially in the English part, where we had to read old as English literature.
Jane Eyre,
for example. But I have a love-hate relationship with Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
I feel first when I read the book, it was interesting, all that, but then later I got tired of not reading, but hearing the same story going on and on.
And you know, like the thing is that they keep repeating maybe the same theme.
But that's history. Yeah,
the
exactly.
same theme every, like if we said like the English A, English B, English C.
It's all the same.
Yeah, all the same. Even with the media and communication, actually. That is something I didn't love. Maybe it's no idea. It's just me, or like, you know, they are trying to maybe I'm just being overreacting
but
here.
Some courses are really like, especially like the one what is it called, media and everyday life.
Yeah.
I think that's really great.
Yeah, you have some grudge for that.
Yeah, because now I see media in totally different way.
Yeah.
And I think I'm grateful for that, because it feels like I can filter somehow, and like theoretically we learned how to filter information, text, or how to read, and I think that can also apply for life and how you see life.
Yeah, so somehow you are having this relevance with the curriculum you've been taking or been absorbing there.
Some of it to a bit extent of it.
Okay, and is there a room or space in the college to you know, to discuss with the lecturers, the teachers?
Of course, always there is a room for improvement, and especially when it comes to education or curriculum, because every day stuff is happening in the world, and at the same time, of course, there's the old stuff, but then I think there has to be balance between the old history and the new history, but also there's some history that is forgotten, and I think like that should be more of the focus, instead of like history that we already know, but like also at the same time repeating itself, while there are like some other important history that we don't know. And I think that's really important for a lot of scholars and universities to know.
So if you had the choice to put your curriculum by yourself, what history would you focus on rather?
Oh, that's a really good question. At the same time, really hard, because it depends on what I want to study, or what if I decide to study in the future, then it depends on what, because if I'm interested in like the media, and that I think there are better ways like to get the information out, but at the same time like it should be relevant, that I can apply it in order for it helps me to be, not to be better, but to find something good for myself in the future.
Very well. But speaking of the curriculum and the faculty, like have you ever been in a position that you needed to contact a lecturer or administrator in that college, and you didn't find any response from them?
Of course, I think, especially when it comes to Seritan, I think I'm not the only person who say that. Like, I have a lot of people who complain, even like my friends, not the one that go in my program, but other programs, who are like complaining. There's this girl, it took her like more than a year for her grade to be registered in Ladog, and she could like email every day and so on, but yeah, she only got, at the end of the day, she only got an apology that, oh sorry, we took long time to register, but here. So I think they should improve that, and also like that shouldn't even happen in the first place. Like, we are the students, the environment should be made safer for us in order to read more, or like to focus even more. So if we encounter other problems in our life, and so if that part comes in, the part of our education where it's like, oh, that's when we get our life together, and if that happens, then who's gonna like support us, or like answer us while we need it?
Yeah, I got that as well. Like, you know, sometimes you get really desperate, like, I just want a simple answer.
Exactly.
And nobody know it. Since we've been also on the, you know, technical side, we've been working with softwares that goes with the journalists, like SPSS and other type of practical stuff that we may use it. But would you think that are we really gonna use things like SPSS with the statistics and all that? Are we about this life, or Do you recommend something newer? Can we use like designing programs instead of like a bit rigid program like SPSS?
I think it should be like 50-50, like 50 practical and 50 theoretical.
Yeah.
Because most jobs obviously need, they ask you of such, like
Yeah.
in order to apply your
Exactly.
theoretical into the practice. But if you only do it books, and then only one SSPF,
SPSS.
SSPS. So I don't think so. They should include more. They should include more, because if it's the media, of course the media, we need to experience it, or we are experiencing it, but at the same time the school or the university or the faculty should give us the opportunity to...
They are a bit limited.
Yes.
You know, they are a bit limited with the type of things that really don't... Maybe it works
because
somehow.
there are some courses
at some level, yeah.
There are some courses that are like that were meaningless, and I think they should remove those courses and bring more of the practical into it.
Exactly, which is something that you need to register for another course so you can learn.
So why should, like, if like our program it's media, English and globalization, why shouldn't it be include more?
No, maybe it's like a clickbait.
No, I think so. It is a clickbait because it feels like it encompasses everything, but at the same time limited. Like we feel so limited because like now we have this whole lot of information that we can't even get a job.
Exactly. You know, which take me to the economic side. Where is it in all that? You know, like back in time when I was trying to fix an internship for myself, I couldn't manage to do that, you know, like...
And someone said, when we had the last thing, comments about Sudan, that there should be like maybe 2 internships.
Yeah.
Like maybe one shorter and then one longer. And I think that would be so perfect because then maybe it's a greater chance for us to get a job. Because our whole program, nobody even knows it, what we do or what is it about, or
it's
or
so
if
broad.
even exists.
So broad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if they could like limit it somehow.
So that is the thing, the dilemma thing, that our studies, like, are they reflecting on our future career or not? Are they compatible to the job market or not? That is a good question.
It is, and I think on some level it is, because what we study is actually so important, and it's also at the same time the basis, like the main ingredients to it all, because it's amazing. It has all these amazing ingredients in it, and in order to, let's say, to bake a cake, we need all that in order for it to like be this beautiful cake. At the same time, it should be known, or like make it like spread it. Yeah. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Exactly. You know, we're gonna live on that. Someone, like, you know, we need contacts. We need people.
Exactly.
Someone to hire us. I would like to talk also about, you know, some ideas and wishes. Like, you know, before we get into your thesis, I would like to know, is there any specific project that you would like to be part of? Like, you know, a pleasure to you to work with.
I think if there was like this, like not a radio, but like a station for like the media students in Sudan.
Yeah.
Or like in that program, you go like, oh, you can start your not daily but weekly or even monthly talk, like to make the theories or whatever the teacher says into the practical, just like the way of seeing how maybe the media works, or even seeing a studio, or like how the technology or stuff like that, or even like maybe booking in
can we say a mentor?
Yeah, but for this like program,
yeah,
you know what I mean, like
yeah,
having maybe one day in a month where we're like, oh, we sit in the station, we do
having
one
some seminars,
yes, photographs,
yeah,
or
workshops,
yeah,
I would totally agree with that, wouldn't you? Okay, if you were about to choose one favorite teacher, who would be?
Oh,
that's a different one. Don't tell that.
No, I want to hear it. We want to hear it.
Well, I don't think so. Some of, like, okay, they were great to an extent.
Let's just forget this
Yes.
fucking question. No. I would like to know, like, your real, interacting with the other, students, like,
Oh, I do remember this story when we first started, because I was fresh, new from like gymnasium, high school, so I didn't know a lot of when it came to the technology part, like maybe even like the way of writing, but nobody told me like, oh, in university or college you use this word, or like when writing in the document, So we had, like, when we first started, we had this group presentation, and there was like this guy who helped me in with this project. So I thought that was really nice, like other students helping students to come in the program and get started. So I thought that was really great.
Yeah, but was it something, like a common thing to happen there?
No, it wasn't common, so that's why I still have it in
Yeah.
my head.
Oh my
That's
God.
why it's stuck in my head, like I got the help directly, because otherwise, like, think I was new and then coming, not knowing, nervous and not knowing, and then someone tells you, oh, come sit here, let me do this.
Who was trying to mingle, I guess.
Whatever it is, it worked.
But
And,
in general, did you
in
get
general,
some good vibes from the classmates?
I think so, but
During the project we had together, not you and me, because maybe we didn't.
No,
Once
we didn't,
or
we
two,
did
twice,
twice,
something.
yes.
But like in general,
yeah.
were they collaborative?
In what term?
There is that type of a flow. There is a flow. Did you feel the flow between you?
I think when it comes like to presentations and group projects, it's always like 50-50.
Yeah.
It depends on if you are also like interested and like put in work with them, then I think there will be like a good balance between me and my mates. But I think it was. I wouldn't complain.
Sometimes it's not the classmates that would make you nervous while doing the
But
project.
sometimes they can.
They can, of course. If someone wants to treat you as passive, they would go all the way. We had this toxicity before, not you and me, but we had it, like I had it with couple of classmates, that were intersected by other college that were also doing the English, and we were so dissonant, we couldn't even work with each other, but we had to do that eventually. But the thing is, sometimes also, like the teachers, those who are like leading the seminar, sometimes they really get you out of the mood.
True, because sometimes I think they're just looking out for themselves, and they forget like a group project is a group, and you should like you shouldn't show to the rest like, oh, I did this all by myself, because it is a group, and you should like have your groups back somehow, but at the same time, like, everyone should put in work, but don't make it like obvious who did the more work.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, I would love to talk about your graduating dissertation, mellan parenteser thesis, talking about the Sudanese Uprising in 2018.
Yes.
So in this essay, you've been discussing the importance of the photo, the semiotics of photos in such sensitive moments in history.
Yes.
Like what happened in Sudan. So you were saying about it, like the study was to explore the importance of the photographs in an open protest.
Do you want to first explain what semiotics is?
Yeah, actually semiotics is like how we interpret social codes, signs, and and it depends on the normative system exists in a society, and depending on that normative system we would be able to understand those signals. or quotes. Who was the symbol of that uprising, as what we've been talking about?
The picture that got recognized by a lot and shared around the internet was the picture of Allah Saleh. And I think a lot of people have seen it because it was widespread in the internet. She was wearing a white clothing, which is in Sudanese culture we call it tob. And the picture wasn't intended for it to be like that. It was just her trying to like protest, or as women in Sudanese have always been throughout history, they have been protesting and not being silenced when it comes to their rights and what they need. So they have always been recognized on that part, especially like in Sudan. And now it's been worldwide recognized, which is a good thing. And that's when like the media can come in and do its positive part. And I think that's really good.
When it comes to the worldwide recognition, what do you think that it affects this recognition? How would you move them to have your back as a protester back into the Arab countries? Like, does it move them?
It has to do with the Western culture first, or the Western educational part. Like the boundaries has to be broken first in the Western culture when it comes to education and scholaring using this as a new medium in order to spread something good or something rather that helps.
Yeah. And my question coming from since we used to live in dictatorships like Syria, Sudan, and other parts of the Arab countries. It is hard to go on the street and just to ask what is your something
just
that you don't
what you want.
Exactly. Your basic stuff that you need, like freedom,
just like them,
decent life.
The reason why this protesting first broke, it was due to the rising of prices of bread. So imagine you going on the street protesting because of the high prices of bread rising every day.
Exactly. And here, by the role of social media, I need to clarify something that, for example, in Syria, in 2010, the censorship of the internet, on Facebook and YouTube, they canceled this censorship. And then they put it back on 2012. How is it in Sudan? Haven't they blocked Facebook, social media, or something like that?
The thing is, it's a trend for the dictators to cut off the internet. It's a way of controlling that, outside media not to see anything. So even within that, they are
Limited.
They are limited.
Yeah.
So imagine, because then there will be no information going in or out of the country, and that's a way of silencing them, or even silencing the rest of the world, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's what needs to be broken, and the media is responsible to do that. Just like how these pictures, for example, got recognized widely, but also have impacted greatly in a positive way.
Yeah, I get that. In your opinion, how did the social media react to the uprising of Sudan? Was it a negative or positive reaction? Did it help?
I think first, how it got widely spread, it had to do with the Sudanese people first, because Sudan has been in war for more than 30 years, or within conflicts and genocides and all that. So when this uprising broke, and then obviously the Sudanese people are spread all over the world due to these wars and problems. So it was more for us, the diasporians, to spread and help them, because we can't be there physically to fight or stand by them. So what we needed to do was to make their voices heard more. So that's why first it was spread through the Sudanese community in Twitter, and that's when sharing and sharing the picture, and then that's when other people have started sharing the picture, and then the picture got famous in BBC or all over the news, and now it's an iconic symbol for the Sudanese women, but also for the Sudanese people.
The Sudanese government has blocked the internet, as you mentioned, like on June the 3rd. Like, and according to the Washington Post, there was a recognition of like solidarity. Yeah,
yes.
exactly. You know, it's not only in Sudan, but outside Sudan, there was like this social virtual pressure to achieve what they want to do.
And if you have noticed in the picture, she was standing, but then because the power was cut off, people were having their phones out to light just to show solidarity and support, like you said.
Yeah. And you will also doing some comparison between the Arab countries like Tunisia and Egypt. Like Tunisia started in 2010.
Yeah, the Arab Spring.
Egypt also in that time, 10, 11. There is something in mutual, I guess, by the oppressor, which is like, you know, the authoritarian government of those three countries. Like, what do you think is that in common between the three of them?
They're assholes.
They are assholes, exactly. You cannot even say it in a more like, you know, nicey fancy word.
No, but also at the same time, like, I think they're scared of that solidarity or like that recognition because they have been silencing their own people for decades of years, and now when that recognition became blew up in their faces suddenly.
Yeah.
And new technology, and especially new technology, because they cut off the power, but some people are using VPN and all that stuff in order to put to get out information out of the country, or like to say to other Western countries, like, guys, we're here.
Yeah.
See us.
And this is what I like. If you cut off the journalist, it comes and emerges the citizen journalism.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And everyone became a journalist.
Yeah.
Even me myself on Twitter sharing information, or Instagram and that.
I guess like, you know, there where we appreciate it, and like we recognize that the social media is gonna be the major player in what is coming. So back to images and the internet during the uprising, since we're talking about the agency of pictures for the image of Allah. Yeah, like the people around her taking photos, filming her. She is speaking, raising her finger. She's talking about, that is my country, I will never leave it, I need my freedom here. So what does this evoke in you as a Sudanese?
Rage.
Rage against who?
Against of course the government, but at the same time also like the media, because I feel like it should do more, but also like we are responsible for that too.
We definitely are.
As you said, that it wasn't really a thing before she spoke out.
Exactly, and she wasn't like waiting. She didn't knew like, oh, this moment or this is the right moment. Of course, she was like standing. Oh, you know, she was standing on a car, and that car was I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if it was a police car or that, but she didn't care. All she cared about was her voice being heard, and you can even see from the videos of that the picture. You could see the rage and pain in her, you know?
Yeah. So we can say that she was the embodiment of each
course.
one of them.
But not only that, but also an embodiment of generations of women before her and after her.
Yeah, which is something even Stuart Hall talked about, actually. You know, the system of representation.
Of course.
It's not only photo or video or non-verbal communication, it's also a speech, it's also a standing, you know, like a type of bigger representation. Even Mikhail Foucault talked about that, like, you know, when he centralized his attention towards the history, how history is made by those images taken for such, you know, thing that it would manage and gather people around it, which is something actually like really representing the knowledge of that historical moment that we all
But
need.
like in order for us to explore the importance of photographs in, for example, like an open protest like the Sudan Uprising, we also need to look at what they represent.
Yeah.
So pictures and representation comes in the picture directly, and that's when we would not be able to view the universe meaningfully if we don't know the schemes that Stuart Hall was talking about in presentation.
Let's talk about the normative system of the Sudanese people. What is Ala Saleh is doing by standing there?
She's representing the message, the intended message.
Yeah.
And now Ala Saleh is a symbol for all of us, of all of us, the Sudanese people and Sudan in general. And now, like, she has opened a lot of new opportunities. Like how they say Muslim women they're silenced, or they can't do what they want, or they can't even have a place in the table when it comes to politics.
And yet we see her standing
and
there.
And yet she breaks all these barriers between them. So, and now it's really amazing, because now it's all about representation. If I see her standing there and I'm like, wow, she's Sudanese, she's a woman, she's standing there, she's passionate about what she's saying, then why can't I do the same?
Yeah.
Or my other younger siblings thinking the same. So
somehow
she becomes a role model for the whole of Sudan.
But since you are living here in Sweden, residing here in Sweden, how would that, move you from the place you are?
Of course, as Sudanese diasporian, I have to support, but also it moves me in a way like, wow, at least someone is out there representing me as a woman, but also as a Muslim Sudanese woman in Sweden.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I hope that the situation right now is a little bit better in Sudan. What do you think?
It's still shit.
Yeah.
But the Sudanese people are young and hungry, and they want to build their country for the better.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But the thing is...
But it's the seed that needs to be removed.
Yeah. I guess that, maybe they need to get to use that they have the rights to get out and express their frustration.
Exactly. And that wasn't the first uprising. The first uprising was, I think, 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's when they also were out, and now they have this demonstration called the Millionaire, which is like not every day, but I don't know what I'm saying now.
Just talk your talk.
Talk your walk. Yes, but I hope it gets better, and it will.
Well, I guess if it will, it depends on every citizen, not only in the Sudanese regions, actually, in the Arab world, because now it's so messed up.
But that's where the problem is, and that's how it started. One country affects the other, so when one neighboring country and a neighboring Arab country is in war, somehow systematically it affects Sudan or the neighboring countries.
But
on that manner.
What is ironical? What is ironical is like whenever there is a neighbor country that is having this uprising, the other country would feel that the leader of that country will feel terrified, and this man there's no woman right now there, so this man would be so holding his grip into that society just because he is afraid that the seed will spread.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I think they should use their fear for good.
Yeah.
Like making it simply a safer place for everyone, even the neighboring countries.
Yeah. Well, I guess like we talked about how images giving that significant effect, and it affects indeed everyone looking and like, you know, having that image, because, you know, the image gives you the rest to your brain,
It gives
so
you
you
a
can
room.
Yeah.
It gives you a room to interpret it
Exactly.
for yourself. And
you
and maybe the same effect that it gives me, it won't give you, but at the same time, the photographer when in that moment decides to take this picture, it is not for the photographer to intend the message or what. It's up to you how to interpret it, but also what to do with it.
Exactly.
So after you have seen the picture, interpreted, what are you gonna do with it, or how is that effectiveness? What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah, totally agree. Since we are gonna wrap this up, I would love to leave you with a word from Hanan.
Okay. Thank you, Nour, for having me. It was so lovely.
Mi casa es su casa, you know that.
Thank you. This was so lovely, and I can't wait to continue with this and develop this small project and see it until it flourishes.
I would definitely love to see you, you know, having something that you really want to work with. Like, I saw you how you, like yesterday, we were talking about how you are so engaged in things for Sudan on Twitter.
Yes.
You told me about that. You know, you are like, you know, you are the whole night is yours for you and for Sudan now.
And all of that thanks to the media again for making this possible. Like for me to feel home, even though I'm not physically home.
But do you have even the tiniest fear that the media also would, you know, have?
But like, if you remember what I said in the beginning, the program helped me to filter.
Yeah.
So I know, or okay, let's say I'm not 50% aware, 50% aware of the bad stuff of the media and what the media can do or cannot do. So since I'm aware of that, then I can filter.
Yeah. If the media is a double-edged agency, I guess it's up to us to, you know, to take the best part of it.
Exactly. And also it depends on what glasses you're wearing in order to see it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for listening to the first episode of the college experience, and I hope that we're gonna continue to further episodes with best classmates ever. Thank you.